Hello all, this is a video going over the universal values found here on the Finals tab, namely the man-hour matrices. I believe that is plural for matrix. So we have the monetary values per man-hour going in. It is applied throughout. It is captured in SOV. It is then returned back to the final. This equals SOV BK4, which is the total man hours for install. 140 is the total man hours for caulk, and so on. Looking here at transit, it is a very cool little function. Transit is a percentage added to install and caulk wage rates. So $10 is 10% of 100. Transit is applied to man hours for install and caulk. 1358 plus 140 is about 1500. 10% of that is 150. If I were to change this to 20, these values will stay the same and only transit will change. What that provides you is an interesting little tool. The history of transit is to apply a percentage to the in-field man hours, namely install and caulk, for a job that was rather far away. It was unfair to not pay the boys to have to drive there, and they wouldn't do a good job because of their disgust. So in an effort to keep them happy, we paid them to drive there. Transit can be used certainly for its original purpose if the job, once again, is 2 hours away. It provides also an interesting tool for just about everybody in the office. For the estimators, you are able to add about half of the transit. So, going on the fact that the labor percentage is generally going to be about half, meaning that the total labor price and the total material price is about half. That's a general guideline, but you are going to be adding about half of the transit, in this case 5%, to the total job. So let's figure it. Let's see what the numbers actually are. Transit monetary add to the total, oops, sorry about that, equals this divided by that. So we're here at 4.2%, slightly under 5. So that's what you're working with. Should the GC come to you and say, hey, your guys are about 4.2% high, you got a pretty easy fix right there. You put it to 0, and there's your job. So it is going to be the first thing that the estimator gets rid of should the GC come back and ask for a lower price. It is also a great tool for the project manager. It provides to them a goal, which is getting the job complete with the allotted man hours. And it is providing them a buffer zone of 150 man hours to stay monetarily solvent, I guess the word might be. So it is a good way to keep your company striving towards a goal. If you go through each one, we will see how the transit man hours are applied. We have here 247 install, which is then the transit percentage is then applied of 25. This is a way of looking at each individual item to see where you need to work on, to improve your installed numbers. Because once again, 247 is the goal, but you have the buffer of 25. So they are presented and applied individually. All right. Down here we have total man hours, which is simply adding up all of the man hours on the item, transit included. Labor man hours is the total minus the transit. to demonstrate that idea, we are going to go back to this and make transit 0, which will then render the labor man hours equal to the total man hours. All right. So that is kind of where you would check to see the specifics as to meeting your goal of eliminating the transit. If you have, 1 second. Okay, so basically all of the labor applicators are set up the same. Transit man hours are applied to caulk and install, but not fab. Coming here to SOV, the total man hours for each section are added. And this is where this pulls. Equals SOV BK4 for the total install. BK4. All right. Now this serves as a little bit of a check as well. This value right here is a sum of everything going directly to, oh, I'm sorry. All these values are going back exactly, sorry, I'm clicking around here. These install values are going back to the actual sheet. They're taking it directly. I made that very specific. These all values are going to individual, which pulls from each sheet. So everything here is a sum of the actual values here on each sheet other than finals. Except for the total. This is going to finals. Generally, round is to be a very, very small percentage. Pocket change, take the boys out for ice cream. There is a condition of which I would like to broach now. Please give me a call back at give me a call at 610-442-8918 for a complete elaboration. I can fix this. It is a little bit of a flaw, but I don't see many people incurring it. The flaw exists when you adjust caulk to be different than install. Once again, I don't see many customers doing that. At which point the value be, more than $14 pocket change. I can elaborate on that, but if your caulk value goes up, you do have that much more money in the pocket, so it's not really that much of a problem. The reason is 10% is a function of the value of a man hour's work for install, but it is applied to caulk. So nowhere is 120 multiplied by 10 shown here. That is the single snafu in this situation. I can elaborate as to what to concern yourself with. Should you be applying different values for caulk and install? Ensure that you're not signing a contract with an alternate at a prevailing wage. That'll augment the situation, and it will screw up your numbers. With that said, moving on, markup is rather simple. It is 30% of the cost. Tax in is 10% of the cost. Tax out is 10% of the markup plus the cost. Energy surcharge is simply applying 10% to the price per square foot to your database glass prices. It is also applying 10% to edge treatment and cutouts. I don't necessarily know if glass distributors do that, but it does apply 10%. If you want that change, I can change it for you. Not a problem. To demonstrate where markup, tax in, and tax out are applied, we have here cost, which is a simple function of adding these values. Markup is simply adding 30%. U __ markup is the named range. Tax is the cost multiplied by tax in plus the cost plus markup multiplied by tax out. Those who are tax exempt would be using a tax in of 0. I've always worked with tax exempt companies. It was brought to my attention that there are companies out there that are not tax exempt. So that is why I added the tax in value. It wasn't really that difficult to do. All I had to do was figure that on individual totals because all of the material is figured there. And that is about it for this video. We had gone over the tax in matrices. Make sure that you use transit to your advantage and understand its value. It is a very, very cool tool, and it can be... Glass Estimator Pro is a snapshot of what was bid, and it provides so much information where you can go back and understand where your boys are messing up. And you may have to adjust the install values if you get the idea that they're doing well on that specific item. If you feel as if they should be meeting that goal, then you have to concentrate on all glass if this transit man-hour is not where it should be. It's just, I can't say it enough. It's a great tool for owners, really, especially, to be able to take an idea of a snapshot of what the estimator did, compare that with the general industry standard of what you're used to, and understand who is to be, I don't want to say blamed, but who needs to be kind of kept an eye on as to meeting the company's goals. Thank you very much.